Well, after Google's threat to pull out of China, a representative of China's Communist Party is pointing the finger at Washington, accusing it of developing a cyber army. Well, joining us now to talk about the cyber warfare is Tom Faremski. He's the editor of Silicon Valley Watcher. Tom, thanks so much for being here. So, in light of this, several experts have brought up interesting points. They say, look, the news here isn't that Chinese hackers engage in these activities. We all knew that before. But it's apparently that the U.S. government inadvertently aided the hackers. What do you make of that? And can you elaborate on that statement?
Right. Well, Google collects information on its users because it has to comply with search warrants. So it has this internal wiretapping system, which helps it provide the data that search warrants request. Now, it seems that the hackers hacked into that wiretapping system, and so which makes perfect sense, because why try and collect all that information yourself all over the place when you can just go to the honeypot and collect it right there. So in one sense, it's true that the U.S. government enabled that to happen, but still, it was outsiders that went in and illegally tried to get that data.
Is the U.S. government acknowledging this, though, that their surveillance programs could have aided these Chinese hackers?
Well, it's not so much their surveillance program, it's Google's surveillance program, which it uses to collect the data that search warrants demand. So it's not so much that the U.S. government created this system, Google created this system.
And Google, in the very beginning was referencing human rights as the reason that it would pull out. So in terms of what you just said, is that argument sort of out the door?
Well, that's what's so strange about that argument. Pulling out of China based on human rights, I mean, they could have done that at any time. So why now? Are they embarrassed that the spy system was hacked? Are they trying to punish China in some way? Pulling out of China doesn't mean that they're going to be under less attack from cyber hackers. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. So we don't really, it seems like we don't have the full story here on what's going on at Google.
But after all the buzz, it looks like Google is saying, we're going to continue, business as usual. What was the shift here then? Is this just a money issue?
Well, I'm not sure if they're saying they will continue as usual. Last week at their earnings, Eric Schmidt, the CEO, said we're really committed to China. But I think that we might be seeing a split amongst the Google leadership, because the Google leadership is shared by Sergey Brin, Larry Page, the founders, and Eric Schmidt, the CEO. Eric Schmidt was brought in 9 years ago to provide adult supervision. Now, it's 9 years later. Does Google still need adult supervision? And Eric Schmidt was the one that really wanted Google to go into China. And that policy hasn't worked out. So I wonder, maybe we're seeing a split in the triumvirate of Google, and this is one symptom of it.
Here's something else that I read that was interesting. Some experts say that the hackers subverted the access system Google put in place to comply with U.S. intercept orders. So they're saying, why doesn't anyone think that criminals won't be able to use the same system to steal bank account, credit card information, use it to launch other attacks, or really just turn it into a massive spam sending network? How would you respond to that? What do you think?
Well, it's true. I mean, that's the security risk of wiretapping systems. It's that they can often increase the security risk because they're already tapping into that system. So you have to make sure that it's super, super secure. And I'm sure Google took appropriate security steps to do that. But obviously, it wasn't enough, because the hackers did get in.
Tom Faremski, I want to thank you for speaking with me, for your insight and analysis on this issue.